Did you know that nearly 65% of people remember stories better than facts or statistics? That's because our brains are wired to connect with narratives in a way that raw data just can't match. CEOs like Steve Jobs, Elon Musk, and Oprah Winfrey didn't just build empires, they mastered the art of storytelling, and it played a huge part in their success. In fact, a study by Harvard Business Review found that leaders who are skilled storytellers are 50% more likely to engage their audience and inspire loyalty. These iconic CEOs didn't just create groundbreaking products, they created stories that made people believe in their vision. In this video, we're diving into the storytelling secrets of the world's most influential CEOs. From Steve Jobs turning failure into a triumph to Elon Musk's vulnerability that built trust, we'll uncover how these leaders use storytelling to connect with millions and drive their businesses forward. So, are you ready to learn how to craft your own compelling narrative and lead like a pro? Keep watching, because these storytelling lessons could change the way you think about leadership forever. Chapter 1: The Visionary's Art. How Steve Jobs transformed failure into triumph. Steve Jobs wasn't just a tech visionary, he was a master storyteller. What set him apart wasn't just the products he built but how he shared their story. He had an incredible ability to turn failure into fuel for innovation. Take the infamous Apple Newton as an example. While it was considered a flop, Jobs used the experience to teach his team valuable lessons about simplicity. His storytelling made it clear that failure wasn't the end, it was a stepping stone. Jobs had a knack for weaving personal stories into Apple's brand narrative. He often shared stories of his early days in the garage and the challenges he faced. This made him more relatable, even as he built a billion-dollar empire. According to his biography, he once said, "The people who are crazy enough to think they can change the world are the ones who do." This simple yet profound quote is a perfect example of how Jobs used storytelling to inspire bold thinking. But it wasn't just about the past. Jobs also had a unique way of making the future feel attainable. His product launches were like theatrical performances. For example, the "Think Different" campaign in the late 90s used iconic figures like Albert Einstein and Martin Luther King Jr. to link Apple's innovative spirit to a legacy of greatness. By using these figures, he elevated the brand and made Apple feel like a movement, not just a company. The strategy: Jobs was a master at emotional storytelling. He didn't just sell products, he sold dreams, aspirations, and ideals. This made Apple's story not just a tech story, but a cultural one. The emotional connection he created through his storytelling helped Apple grow into one of the most valuable companies in the world. Steve Jobs knew that stories are more than just words, they are powerful tools for creating culture. Whether it was through his product launches or the tales of his personal journey, he made people feel like they were part of something bigger. His storytelling was never just about selling, it was about building loyalty and creating lifelong fans. Chapter 2: The Power of Personal Vulnerability. Elon Musk's unseen struggles. Elon Musk is a genius inventor and entrepreneur, but his storytelling isn't all about rockets and electric cars. Musk's storytelling is rooted in his willingness to show vulnerability, something rare among CEOs. In a world where leaders often feel the pressure to appear perfect, Musk's openness about failure sets him apart. His early days at Tesla were rocky, with constant struggles to keep the company afloat. In fact, he once admitted, "I could have sold Tesla many times, but I didn't because I had the vision." This transparency creates a sense of honesty with his followers. People don't just see Musk as a billionaire CEO, they see him as someone who's been through the grind and kept pushing forward. One striking example is when he tweeted, "Tesla's gonna die," in 2018. Instead of pretending everything was fine, Musk publicly acknowledged the dire situation, showing that even visionary entrepreneurs face setbacks. Musk's vulnerability has paid off. It humanizes him, making his accomplishments feel more attainable. According to a study by Harvard Business Review, employees are 60% more likely to trust a leader who shows vulnerability. Musk's ability to openly share both the highs and lows of his journey is a big reason why so many people feel connected to him. But Musk's storytelling also goes beyond vulnerability, it's about creating narratives that push the boundaries of what's possible. He often speaks of making life multi-planetary, a story that ties SpaceX's mission to the future of humanity. This vision taps into something deep, the desire for survival, exploration, and legacy. It's a story that appeals to both the intellect and emotions. By embracing vulnerability, Musk has built a loyal following who not only admire his success but also respect the challenges he's faced. His openness about setbacks and challenges makes his victories feel even more impactful. It's a lesson that in leadership, being authentic can sometimes be the most powerful story you can tell. Chapter 3: The Silent Leadership: How Warren Buffett Tells Stories Without Words. Warren Buffett, often referred to as the Oracle of Omaha, is one of the most successful investors in history. However, his storytelling style is surprisingly subtle. Buffett's storytelling isn't about flashy speeches or public appearances. Instead, it's about how he communicates through actions and words that carry weight. His most famous storytelling tool: the annual letters to Berkshire Hathaway shareholders. In these letters, Buffett weaves detailed narratives about his investments, explaining his decisions in a way that even average investors can understand. He's known for his plain language and simple analogies. For example, in one of his letters, he compared an investment to a great business at a fair price versus a fair business at a great price. This simple comparison has become one of the most quoted pieces of investment advice. Buffett's storytelling is also about consistency and trust. He's built his reputation over decades of following the same principles. According to a 2020 study by the CFA Institute, 90% of investors trust Buffett's judgment on investments. This trust isn't built on flashy promises but on years of consistent storytelling that aligns with his values. Another strategy Buffett uses is the power of silence. While many CEOs are busy making headlines, Buffett quietly lets his actions speak for themselves. His personal lifestyle, from driving a modest car to living in the same house for decades, reinforces his story of humility. He's a billionaire who doesn't flaunt wealth, which makes his words even more powerful. Buffett's ability to tell a story without saying much is a reminder that storytelling doesn't always have to be loud. Sometimes, the most powerful stories are told through simplicity, consistency, and integrity. His quiet leadership teaches us that actions can be just as impactful as words, especially when those actions match the story you're telling. Buffett's approach is a brilliant example of how less can be more. By sticking to simple, authentic messages over the years, he's built one of the most respected brands in the world. His storytelling is subtle but powerful, showing us that you don't need flashy presentations to tell a great story. Chapter 4: The Ripple Effect: How Oprah's Storytelling Builds Empathy on a Global Scale. Oprah Winfrey is perhaps the world's most famous storyteller, but her talent goes beyond just telling captivating stories. Oprah knows how to make others feel heard, understood, and inspired. Her storytelling ability hinges on the deep empathy she cultivates with her audience. Whether she's interviewing a guest or sharing a personal experience, Oprah's strength is her ability to connect with people on an emotional level. What sets Oprah apart is how she uses her platform to share transformative stories. Her show often highlighted stories of overcoming adversity. She gave a voice to those who might not have had one, elevating their struggles to a place of universal relevance. According to a study by the National Communication Association, stories told with empathy create stronger emotional connections, and Oprah's storytelling is a prime example of that. Oprah's personal story also plays a major role in her leadership style. Her rise from poverty to becoming a media mogul is part of her narrative. She has repeatedly used this background to show her audience that anyone, regardless of circumstances, can succeed. As she once said, "The biggest adventure you can take is to live the life of your dreams." This quote resonates deeply with people because it reflects her own life story. Oprah also uses storytelling to inspire action. Her book club, for example, has introduced millions to books that encourage personal growth and reflection. By recommending books with themes of resilience and empowerment, Oprah shares stories that empower her audience to take charge of their lives. One key strategy Oprah employs is to take stories from her own life and turn them into lessons for her audience. She's not just sharing her experiences, she's inviting her viewers to see themselves in the story. When Oprah talks about overcoming hardship or building confidence, people feel like they can do it too. The ripple effect of these stories is powerful. One story shared can influence thousands, if not millions. This focus on empathy in storytelling is crucial for anyone in leadership. Oprah has shown that connecting with others on a personal level can inspire loyalty, encourage self-reflection, and even spark societal change. Her ability to tell stories that move people makes her a storytelling icon and a global leader in empathy. Chapter 5: The Champion of Innovation. Jeff Bezos' visionary narratives. Jeff Bezos is known for transforming the way we shop and do business. But what many don't realize is how much of Amazon's success lies in the powerful stories Bezos tells. His storytelling is less about products and more about a big, audacious vision for the future. Bezos uses storytelling to communicate Amazon's customer obsession and the company's commitment to long-term goals. One of the most famous stories Bezos tells is about the founding of Amazon. He started the company in his garage in 1994 with a simple idea: to build the Earth's most customer-centric company. That story, which he repeats often, set the tone for Amazon's entire culture. It's a reminder that a great vision can start from anywhere, and with enough passion and persistence, it can grow into something monumental. Bezos also uses storytelling to highlight innovation as Amazon's core mission. His vision of working backwards is a story he often tells to explain how Amazon develops products and services. Instead of starting with what they want to build, Amazon starts by considering what the customer needs. This story has helped employees and customers alike align with Amazon's focus on delivering what's best for the customer, not just the company. In his annual letters to shareholders, Bezos shares stories that highlight the company's progress and struggles. These letters often reflect a deeper narrative of perseverance. For instance, in one letter, he famously wrote, "If we can keep our competitors focused on us while we stay focused on the customer, ultimately we'll win." This story of relentless focus on the customer has been key to Amazon's success and growth. Bezos also uses his own story to encourage innovation. He talks about the risks he took when he left his high-paying job in New York to start Amazon. In interviews, he often says, "I knew if I failed, I would regret it, but I knew the one thing I might regret is not trying." This risk-taking narrative is a cornerstone of Bezos' leadership philosophy. Another interesting strategy Bezos uses is framing Amazon's journey as a series of day one moments. He emphasizes that the company is always in its day one stage, always innovating, always growing. This narrative keeps the company focused on continuous improvement and ensures that employees and customers feel the energy of a startup, no matter how large Amazon becomes. Bezos' ability to weave a vision of innovation and relentless customer focus into every part of Amazon's culture is a masterclass in leadership storytelling. His narrative inspires employees to dream big and challenges customers to expect more. It's a story that's constantly evolving, but always rooted in the belief that anything is possible if you stay true to your mission. Chapter 6: The Bold Disruptor. Richard Branson's high-energy storytelling. Richard Branson is known for his adventurous spirit and larger-than-life personality, and his storytelling is just as bold. Branson's stories often revolve around taking risks, challenging the status quo, and having fun while doing it. His stories are infused with energy and a sense of optimism, which has helped him build one of the most recognizable brands in the world, Virgin. Branson is a master of adventure storytelling. He often shares personal stories from his many daring escapades, such as trying to break world records in hot air balloons or crossing the Atlantic in a boat. These high-energy stories resonate with audiences because they reflect his willingness to take risks and face challenges head-on. As Branson once said, "You don't learn to walk by following rules. You learn by doing, and by falling over." What's unique about Branson's storytelling is how he ties his personal adventures to his business philosophy. He uses these stories to encourage others to take risks, push boundaries, and live fearlessly. His company, Virgin, is built on the idea that businesses should not only be profitable but should also make a positive impact on the world. Branson's personal narrative of being an underdog who defied the odds aligns perfectly with Virgin's brand story. Another key aspect of Branson's storytelling is humor. He knows how to laugh at himself and make light of situations, even when the stakes are high. In interviews and public appearances, Branson often uses humor to connect with his audience. This approach makes him seem approachable, despite his immense success. Branson also uses storytelling to emphasize the importance of purpose in business. He's shared stories about how Virgin has always focused on making a difference in the world, from creating Virgin Galactic to offering clean energy solutions. These stories make it clear that Branson's businesses aren't just about making money, they're about disrupting industries and creating positive change. What's interesting about Branson's storytelling is how he brings others into the narrative. He frequently tells stories about his employees and how they've contributed to Virgin's success. This makes his employees feel valued and part of the larger story, which boosts morale and creates a sense of shared purpose. By blending adventure, humor, and purpose, Branson has created a storytelling brand that inspires millions. His narrative shows that business can be bold, fun, and impactful all at once. Branson's storytelling reminds us that great leaders don't just tell stories, they live them. And in doing so, they inspire others to create their own adventurous tales. Subscribe for more leadership insights. If you found these storytelling strategies inspiring, don't forget to subscribe for more leadership lessons from the world's most successful CEOs.